5,000-year-old tomb. Unearthed shocking secrets of ancient rituals revealed. Welcome back to the Ancient History Channel, the place where we uncover ancient mysteries buried by time. Throughout history, humans have tirelessly delved into the past to find clues about their own origins. We have been amazed by enormous pyramids that far exceed the construction capabilities of their eras, and astonished by civilizations that vanished without leaving a trace. But then, there are discoveries so shocking even experts are left speechless. Have you ever imagined a skeleton buried in such a strange position that no one can say for sure whether it was part of a ritual or a crime? Or heard of artifacts that don't exist in any historical record? That's when archaeology stops being just a science and becomes a journey to uncover secrets history has deliberately hidden. So, what secrets have archaeologists uncovered for us over the years? Let's explore them together right now. The Coffin of the Daughter, most loved by Qin Shi Huang. As the first emperor of China, Qin Shi Huang achieved countless great accomplishments that have been celebrated by generations. However, historical records rarely mention his children. In fact, almost everyone only remembers his two sons, Ying Huhui and Ying Fusu, even though research shows that Qin Shi Huang had more than 33 children. According to Chinese media, in 1976, archaeologists discovered a complex of tombs near Shangqiao Village, Shandong Province, China. The site contained a total of 17 ancient tombs, including one that held only a bronze sword with no human bones inside. The other coffins were scattered, with skulls and limb bones displaced and disorganized. These tombs resembled those of common people rather than royalty. However, based on some artifacts found at the site, archaeologists concluded that this tomb complex very likely belonged to Qin Shi Huang's daughters, who were murdered by Huhui. Further excavations uncovered two personal seals, one inscribed with the characters Ronglu, possibly belonging to one of Qin Shi Huang's sons, and the other bearing the name Yangxi, believed to be Duan Dung Man, a daughter of Qin Shi Huang. Historically, Qin Shi Huang died from illness while touring the empire. The throne was originally passed to Crown Prince Fusu, but second Prince Huhui conspired with Zhao Gao, Li Si, and others to alter the emperor's will. Ultimately, Huhui took the throne and, to eliminate rivals, killed all those who opposed him. He buried many concubines alive, publicly executed 18 of Qin Shi Huang's sons, and forced 4 others to commit suicide. Even the princesses were not spared. 10 of them died during this rebellion, including Princess Duan Dung Man. In total, over 30 of Qin Shi Huang's children died at the hands of Huhui. There are few records about Duan Dung Man, but she is said to have been the emperor's most beloved daughter, not only for her outstanding appearance, but also for her harmonious personality with her siblings. Still, she could not escape a tragic death. When archaeologists found the tomb believed to be Duan Dung Man's, they discovered her skeleton inside the coffin was far from intact. It showed many stab wounds, and there was even an arrowhead lodged directly into her skull. This scene shocked many historians and evoked deep sorrow. This truly reveals how terrifying ancient China could be. Simply for the sake of power, people were willing to do anything, even kill their closest blood relatives. The giant skull in Romania. In the 1940s, archaeologists were overseeing an excavation in the town of Argeș, Romania, searching for priceless artifacts amid the ruins of what was once the greatest fortress of the Dacian king, Burebista. Local villagers were the main labor force for the dig, excited to earn a little extra during the difficult times. Among them was a man named Ionita Florea, now an elderly man over 80 years old. He was the one who uncovered a giant skull, 2 to 3 times larger than a normal skull. When he reported this to the archaeologists, the workers were immediately dismissed, and the researchers took over the excavation. The artifacts discovered were loaded onto trucks and transported away under an atmosphere so mysterious it was absolute. By the end of the excavation, they had collected a total of 80 skeletons, most of them nearly complete. They also uncovered a huge ceramic jar filled with rice. To this day, no one knows where those skeletons are now. And this is not an isolated case. In recent years, villagers in Skyeni discovered an ancient giant burial site while planting an apple orchard. Once again, the enormous size of the skulls astonished everyone. Alongside complete skeletons, villagers found pottery shards, jewelry, and strange metal statues about 3 feet tall. Shortly after, a team of archaeologists arrived, excavated everything, and then vanished without a trace. No official statement was ever released, and the locals refused to discuss what happened after revealing their findings. Were they forced into silence? Could this event be part of a larger conspiracy? There are many more legends about giants in this area. According to local folklore, a race of giants once lived in the hills and forests surrounding Skyenny. In fact, enormous thrones carved into the mountainside were found in places unreachable by ordinary people. In 2009, a local TV station launched an investigation into the giants and mysterious tunnels beneath Buseji Mountain. Just as the report was about to air, they received a call from an unidentified man who threatened the journalists to immediately stop their investigation. According to this man, they were playing a dangerous game. Was this a staged hoax or an attempt to cover up secret information through intimidation? Only the journalists know, but they refuse to talk about it. Interestingly, the airspace above the Buseji Plateau is a no-fly zone. Many sources point to the CIA as being possibly involved in this matter. Events like these happen all over the world. Yet, whenever someone reports finding giant skeletons, clear evidence always seems to be missing. Authorities usually arrive soon after, hastily covering up the excavation sites, leaving no artifacts behind, and the locals stay silent. People might think something strange is definitely going on here. So, what about you? What do you think this is? 5,000-year-old ancient tomb reveals shocking identity of its owner. Beneath layers of dusty time and the silent earth of the ancient town of Aspero, part of the once glorious Corral civilization in Peru, archaeologists accidentally uncovered a roughly 5,000-year-old tomb containing the remains of a mysterious woman believed to have held a high social status. What makes this tomb remarkable isn't just its ancient age, but the miraculous preservation of the body and the abundance of exquisite burial goods, details that have left experts amazed and excited. While most skeletons found in this area are typically reduced to bare bones, this woman's body was astonishingly well preserved. Her skin, hair, and even fingernails remained intact after millennia, a rare occurrence in prehistoric archaeology. She was wrapped in multiple layers of materials, including cotton fabric, plant fiber bindings, mats, and even nets, indicating a complex and respectful burial ritual. This also provides the first clear sign that she was no ordinary person. Based on the condition of the body and the artifacts in the tomb, experts estimate she lived between 3000 and 1800 BCE and died at around 20 to 35 years old. Most importantly, the items buried with her, valuable evidence revealing aspects of her life and status, stood out. Among these was a piece of embroidered fabric made from the feathers of a long-tailed parrot, a bird native only to the remote Amazon rainforest, suggesting trade connections or broad cultural influence. Additionally, the tomb contained a toucan beak inlaid with green and brown beads, an Amazon snail shell, about 30 sweet potatoes, and a fishing net, all symbolically and practically significant, reflecting the life, beliefs, and wealth of the deceased. The presence of objects from distant regions, combined with signs of meticulous burial preparation, convinced researchers that this woman belonged to the upper class, possibly a leader or an important figure in her community. Although her exact identity or title remains unknown, since the Corral civilization left no written records, the refinement and value of her burial goods speak volumes. She was a powerful woman with deep influence in ancient society. The town of Aspero, where the tomb was found, was a crucial part of the Corral civilization, regarded as one of the oldest in the Americas. Archaeologists have uncovered at least 22 large and small architectural sites here, demonstrating advanced urban planning. The local population mainly lived by fishing, exploiting marine resources, and trading goods, consistent with the fishing net and food items found in the tomb. This further supports the hypothesis that the woman played a key role in her community, possibly managing trade or overseeing spiritual rituals, both vital roles in early societies. This discovery not only helps researchers better understand the role of women in the ancient Corral civilization, one that existed alongside other great civilizations worldwide, but also opens a new window into exploring a glorious past buried beneath thousands of years of history. In the darkness of millennia, the body of the Aspero woman still whispers untold stories of power, dignity, and life in a world we are only just beginning to understand. The remains of the oldest known woman on Earth. Deep underground in South Africa, at a site called Malapa Cave, archaeologists have just added a completely new chapter to the history of human evolution. There, they discovered an almost complete skeleton dated to about 3.6 million years ago, believed to be the remains of the oldest woman ever found on the planet. The skeleton belongs to an individual of Australopithecus sediba, a species of early hominins that existed during the early stages of evolution from ape to human. What makes this discovery extraordinarily rare is the preservation of a patch of fossilized skin, a feature never before found on any prehistoric human skeleton. Even this small piece of skin opens up a unique opportunity to analyze the DNA of our most ancient known ancestor. This biological data could help scientists decode not only physical characteristics, but also the living environment, climate conditions, and evolutionary pathways of humans millions of years ago. According to the research team, the skeleton belonged to a young woman around 18 to 22 years old, who died after falling from a cliff into the Malapa cave system. The sealed, stable humidity and mineral-rich environment of the cave accidentally preserved her body in a near-perfect state for millions of years. Notably, the finger bones of this individual have shapes and proportions very similar to modern humans, indicating that tool use may have begun much earlier than previously thought. The pelvis, spine, and feet also reveal that Australopithecus sediba likely walked upright but still retained agile climbing abilities, reflecting the transition from tree-dwelling creatures to ground-based inhabitants. Malapa Cave, located in the region known as the Cradle of Humankind, has long been recognized as a treasure trove of valuable fossils. However, this find is more than archaeological. It's a moment that reaches to the very roots of the question, who are we? And where did we come from? You see, even after millions of years, the remains of this young woman still whisper gently from the past. No tombstone, no name, but what she left behind. Fragile skin, slender bones, maybe the missing piece modern science needs to understand itself. She surely never knew she would change the world. But now, thanks to her, we are one step closer to the truth about human origins. Over 400-year-old cannons, discovered off the coast of Ireland. In recent months, a remarkable archaeological discovery has shaken the historical and marine research communities. A series of cannons, along with numerous valuable artifacts, were uncovered on the seabed off northwest Ireland. This followed the exposure of the Spanish shipwreck La Juliana, revealed after severe storms over the past 2 years. This discovery not only brings fascinating stories from the past to light, but also clarifies historical mysteries from a turbulent era. The Spanish Armada's invasion attempt in 1588. La Juliana, known as one of the larger ships in the Armada fleet, was lost after being struck by fierce waves and storms. Previously, it had transported goods between Spain and Italy until King Philip II of Spain requisitioned the vessel for the invasion aimed at overthrowing Queen Elizabeth I. Weighing 900,000 pounds, La Juliana could carry up to 32 cannons and more than 300 soldiers, alongside a crew of 70 sailors. The cannons found on the ocean floor have remained remarkably intact for over 400 years, as if time itself could not erase their mark. Especially notable is one cannon recently brought ashore, engraved with the image of Saint Matrona, the protector saint of Catalonia and Barcelona, and dated 1570, the same year La Juliana was built. Archaeologists report that despite being buried underwater for centuries, the cannons are still in excellent condition, thanks in part to the protective seabed environment. This also reflects the advanced weapons manufacturing techniques of the 16th century, as these artifacts have demonstrated surprising durability. This find is not only an archaeological treasure, but also a vivid testament to Spain's failed invasion of England. After the historic Battle of Gravelines, the Spanish fleet was defeated and faced devastating storms off the coast of Ireland, sinking many warships including La Juliana. The waters off Ireland became a graveyard for the fleet, where about 1/3 of the Armada's 63 ships were lost. Heather Humphreys, Ireland's Minister for Arts, Heritage and the Gaeltacht, expressed deep emotion upon visiting the site, saying, "We have uncovered a magnificent and immensely important treasure, over 425 years old. These artifacts are clearly of great historical and archaeological significance." Salvage operations are expected to last several weeks, with security forces deployed to protect the area and prevent treasure hunters from intruding. La Juliana is just one of 3 Armada ships lost in the violent storms of 1588. The other 2, La Lavia and Santa Maria de Vison, also sank, taking more than 1,000 soldiers and sailors with them. Historians believe these vessels remain protected beneath layers of seabed sand, waiting to be explored by archaeologists. A 4,000-year-old skeleton, found in a strange burial position. In the peaceful countryside of Brandenburg, Germany, where sun-drenched fields are soon to make way for modern wind turbines, a strange discovery has shaken the archaeology community. During a pre-construction survey excavation, 2 archaeologists, Philip Roskoshinsky and Krzysztof Rizagata from the consulting firm Archeros, accidentally uncovered a set of human remains that to this day, no one has been able to fully explain. This is no ordinary skeleton. What makes it special, indeed startling, is the burial position. According to Dr. Christoph Krauskopf from the Brandenburg State Heritage and Museum Authority, the woman in this grave was buried in a squatting position, leaning on her right side, with her head facing east. This posture is not only unusual, but so rare it almost breaks every known norm of ancient burial rituals. The question arises, why was she buried like this? Could this be a special funeral rite never before recorded? Or is it a sign of some lost ancient religious belief? The biggest challenge for archaeologists is that the grave contained no accompanying artifacts, no bracelets, no tools, no material traces that could help accurately date the woman's time period. However, based on the soil layer, excavation site, and some anatomical features, experts estimate that these remains are over 4,000 years old, dating back to the Neolithic period, around 2500 to 2200 BC. Still, what was found raises more questions than answers. A woman, unknown identity, buried without any personal belongings, laid to rest in such a peculiar position. What happened to her? Was she a special figure, an outcast from her community, or part of an ancient sacrificial ritual? With so little data, the expert team is planning a series of in-depth studies. These include carbon dating to precisely determine when she died. DNA tests could reveal her family relations, health condition, or even diseases she might have had. Particularly important is strontium isotope analysis of her teeth, which can reveal where she lived during her early years, a crucial clue to reconstructing the life journey of someone who lived thousands of years ago. All these studies might not only clarify the woman's identity, but also provide important evidence about prehistoric cultural, social, and religious life in Central Europe. The 1,600-year-old burial of a warrior maiden. Have you ever believed that deep within the wild, cold steppes of Central Asia, where time seems to stand still, there remain mysteries that could change the way we see history? A discovery in 1988 in the Republic of Tuva, a small country nestled between Russia and Mongolia, did just that. What at first seemed to be an ancient grave with a partially mummified skeleton, thought to belong to a young boy, actually held an epic story that had gone untold for thousands of years. And only recently has this secret truly begun to unfold. Scientists from the Moscow Institute of Physics and Technology in Russia conducted genetic analysis on the mummy. The results stunned the scientific community. This was not a boy, but a young girl, only about 12 to 13 years old. A maiden, but not an ordinary girl, a Scythian warrior, embodying the legendary female heroes of epic tales and mythology. This young girl was not buried in silken dresses, but wearing a leather cap and a fur coat made from the pelts of a local rodent called a jerboa, typical of the steppe region. Most remarkably, she was buried with a full set of weapons: a birchwood bow, 10 wooden arrows, and a long-handled axe, items not meant for an ordinary person, but for a true warrior. These details perfectly match the ancient records of Hippocrates, the famous Greek physician. In texts written between 460 and 370 BC, he described a group of female Scythian warriors, strong, ruthless, and equal to any man in battle. They were rigorously trained from childhood and had to remain virgins until killing at least 3 enemies. Only after completing this sacred rite of combat were they allowed to marry. It was not just a duty, but a warrior's pride. Many historians still debate whether these legendary female warriors from Greek mythology were real. But the discovery in the Republic of Tuva may be the strongest living proof that they did exist. not just as myths, but as real people with flesh and bone, ideals, and deadly battles. Although the exact cause of this young girl's death remains unclear, archaeologists believe from her burial, with full warrior gear and attire, that she fell in battle, and thus she was honored in death like an ancient warrior, respected and remembered by her people. What makes this discovery especially remarkable is not just the mummy's age or the grave's nature, but the story buried through time. A girl barely in her teens, yet bearing the heavy burden of warriorhood, honor, ideals, and the harsh social expectations of her era. She was neither a princess in a castle nor a muse at a window. She was a true warrior who wrote her silent history with her very life. Today, as the world re-examines the role of women in history, findings like this are more than archaeological. They are voices from the past saying, women have always been central to the human story, even if history once forgot them. And who knows, beneath yet unexcavated graves across the vast, windswept steppes, there may still be warriors like this Tuva girl, quietly waiting for their stories to be told. Have you ever thought that history might change from a single drop of blood analyzed after thousands of years? I certainly believe it can. We've just explored some of the strangest archaeological mysteries ever discovered, places where ancient skeletons, old tombs, and mysterious artifacts have lain silent beneath the earth for thousands of years, yet continue to puzzle scientists with unprecedented findings. Thank you for joining ancient history on this journey. We hope what we've shared not only sparked your curiosity, but also inspired you to look at history through a new lens, where the truth isn't always as clear-cut as we might think. There are still many mysteries hidden beneath layers of dust and time, waiting to be uncovered. And who knows? The next discovery might just shake the very foundations of what we thought was unchangeable. So don't forget to like, share, and subscribe so you won't miss any future discoveries. See you in the next video.